So at that time, I think at Optiv, I think I was getting like 105 or something like that. And I think GS was coming with a base, I think of 130 or 135. And that was just the base. And then the bonus was like 30K. Whatever you negotiate for this current role helps you for the next role.
Immediately, especially if you're staying at the same company.
Well, for me, it was.
Or even if you job hopping.
Well, it's on the job hop, so I'll get like, for example, for me, when I left, I think Goldman Sachs probably was the time when I was like, as far as money wise, I felt like I made it, and not really made it because once I got to that level, then I was like, oh, I'm still some other levels to achieve, but I knew like HR at my current company wasn't finna match what I was getting already. I think I probably was like getting like a 50K increase in comp, leaving from Optus to go to GS at the time.
How did that make your spirit feel?
Let's even just bag up about
a moment of vulnerability.
Yeah, we can even bag up so we can talk about the whole process. It's like why I tell y'all to get on y'all LinkedIn. The recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. I didn't apply to that job.
Clock it. Tell people that it's possible. Happened to me,
They
happened
know.
to you.
Exactly. They know, but they failed to not listen to it. But yeah, they reached out to me, and we got to talking. The process was super long. Like they reached out to me in like June of 2021, or either it was early July. And so I landed the job before Zelly was born. Zelly was born in September. So technically I had already landed the job. I had to start later because of her birth. And they pretty much was trying to get me on before she was born, because if I could have started before the 29th, I would have been eligible for that 6 months of maternity leave.
You would have ate down with that one. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't have like at Optiv, I think you only got like 6 weeks, and it's all right. Going through the process is pretty cool. The role was a incident management role, and for people who don't know what that is, in this particular role, we handle all incidents like related to the firm. So it could be security related, it could be IT related, it could be something. But if it's big enough, we handle it. You have a small team dedicated just to that. So like I tell everybody about GS, they lean and they gonna work you. But
you're gonna get that exposure and that experience.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I probably could have negotiated more. That's everything.
Don't you always hate that when you
every
look
time
back?
you get a job, you like, because the recruiter said, you sure this still works? And it was just, this don't happen anymore. But at the time, I didn't know, they didn't post the range, because I don't even think that thing was even out yet where the bill would have to post the range. And I was like, yeah, it was what's called the range. So I know it's like, man, what was the numbers? So at that time, I think at Optiv, I was getting like 105 or something like that. And I think GS was coming with a base, I think, of 130 or 135. And that was just the base. And then the bonus was like 30K. So
you was up. You was up. Yeah.
I was up, and I said, this is a prestigious name in finance. At the time, it was remote. And I'm sure the people that's been following me from 4 years ago know I did my whole spiel on GS and going downtown. But I will say, now that 380 is fixed, going downtown would be a problem. But back then, it was hectic. Like, you see how I actually went to 7-Eleven when you was telling me you was on the way. When I told you I was almost there, I lived like kind of way after you. It don't take me no time to get here now. But it's just a sidebar. And going through that, I went through the interviews. And what helped me was that I was probably like more technical than everybody that interviewed. And that's actually what happened when I got there. They realized like, he's not in a bad way, like they're thinking you want to be smart, but it's like, he's more technical than we thought he would be. Like we probably need to put him in a role, because an incident manager is not a technical role. It helps to be technical, but it's not technical. You're just managing incidents. But I would say this is the best phrase for it. An incident manager is like a project manager of incidents. So there could be a lot of incidents going on, and you got to prioritize which incident.
Yeah. What's taking priority?
Yeah, so you'll have something that's like, P3, P4, whatever, and then you figure out which one's more critical. The more critical the incident, the more frequent you have to notify stakeholders, whether it's like once, twice, or 3 times a day or whatever. And then if it's very low level, you might just send an update at the end of every day. But going from there, now once you get a baseline saying, all right, cool, in the market, I know my worth. I know that, hey, I'm not leaving for nothing less than $150,000 whatever. And these are just numbers to throw around. Now, when you start interviewing in other roles, like, oh, well, here they paying the next level, 175. Let me see what I can get. Now, you also got to bear in mind what industry you work in and what company.
10 out of 10. Because everybody ain't laying like that.
Yeah, because some companies give you golden handcuffs, and that's why you see so many people stay at a job. It's like, you can't beat it. Like, I know my company, it's gravy for some of them. Like, for real, you can't beat it. Like, they don't really do layoffs. They got people that's been there, 20, 30 years. They either can retire or they see a lot of benefits. Like, to go back to working in finance, that first bonus was also guaranteed. So my bonus was a contingent on how well the firm did that year. Because I came. So here's a negotiation tip, and I said this before. If you are interviewing with companies at the end of like Q4 about to come on, you need to ask them, do they do like sign-on bonuses? And if they don't do sign-on bonuses, do they do, what's it called? I think it's a comp adjustment. It's something like that. And what it'll do is, let's say, for instance, your current job, you're slated to get a bonus of like $40,000 in January or February. Mm-hmm. You can talk to HR, and if that company does that, maybe they'll do sign-ons, but do comp adjustments, you can show them proof of what you're supposed to get, and then all they got to do is get it approved, and they'll pay you that. So that's something that people don't talk about, because I know when I was...
people don't know.
I didn't either. I just was like, yo. So
how'd you figure out?
I was like, y'all do sign-ons, whatever. Well, HR, she was a sister.
Mm-hmm. So she put you on.
She was like, we can do, a sign-on or blah, 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 and then we can do a comp buyout or a comp. Yeah, it was a comp buyout or comp adjustment of whatever your bonus is supposed to be. So I was smart. I had the documentation. My bonus at the other company, this is me post leaving GS, was supposed to be like $20K. Mm-hmm. However, for that company, I only got $10K that year, but it was supposed to be 20. So I showed the documentation where it said, or my offer letter was like it was going to be 20. So I got that to come on. So it's all about finesse.
I will say this. Let's stay here for just a moment. So let's talk a little bit about how it feels to get a big bonus, after not getting.
I could turn on music right now. I could tell you how I feel. Hold on. Dang it. See, it's not even cool to even listen to Puff songs because, he had All About the Benjamins.
Yeah. Let me think. Let's talk about it. I will say first big bonus, I called my godmom and I was like, what you supposed to do with all this money? Like, where does it go? It help me help myself. Because I know it don't just go in your checking account. So let's talk about some things that we can do with it. Or even just kind of being the first gen and not having anybody to call to ask, what do I do with this money? Or how can I help this money grow?
So, glad you said it. So real talk, when you actually...
No, this is serious. This is real life.
Because I thought about it. I was like, if you had certain companies where you have a good bonus and you got student loans, you can pay off your loans faster just by paying them up either for the year or, you can just pay, okay, cool, you owe $30,000. Your bonus is $15,000. Maybe put half of that to the loan. So now you paid it off in 3 years and you done with it.
I think it's important for you to handle business. Like when you get that, okay, for example, let's say.
Pay off debts.
Literally, I was going right there. Let's say you've been out of work and now you done got this job. Let's say you finna get a $25,000 bonus and you got $10,000 in credit card debt. Pay that off immediately. Pay it off, get it off your back, save. Maybe this is not financial advice. These are some ideas of things you can do. I know a lot of people are using, money market accounts. Some people are making, small increments, payments to like an investment or something, Bitcoin, whoever it may be. But there are things that you can do with your money. And I do think it's important that you establish a relationship with someone who may be a little bit more financially savvy and well off than you, so you can start to think in a way that maybe you're not familiar with, or maybe you didn't grow up thinking this way because who didn't touch that much money from a bonus.
Yeah, no.
That's a lot of people's salaries.
Facts.
And
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm saying that like so seriously,
and
especially as
depending
a
on the-
first gen. Like,
and depending on the company, you may keep like. So my bonus
and taxes.
for my first bonus for GS was $30K. I think I got $22K of that. I think, and I was surprised I got that much of it.
From taxes?
Yeah, they took out $8 or $10,000, but I was surprised I got that much. So, it definitely make you feel like a new person
because for sure. And it teaches you that I can achieve this and more.
And the crazy part about it, there are people, and this is on the tech side. It's not even investment banking side. There are people on the tech side that get triple that.
Yeah, facts.
Just on their bonus at that company. Mm-hmm. And so people are listening to this now, like, it has its pros and cons, but if you want to go work hard and that's the only thing you want to do it. Because, like, the only con about working at certain finance companies is they want to know a lot about your outside moves.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like Deloitte, they don't play that. They need to know, what you got going on.
Shoot, put your other stuff in the trust and keep it moving. But, yeah, I mean, I would say that's why it's important also if you can find a mentor inside of the company maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody you directly either report to or something like that.
I like that idea because they are familiar with the payment schedule and you can maybe ask them, some things that have worked out well for them. I know that one of my CVPs had retired and she, was like, I've done pretty well because I only took out stock in the company and that's all the stock that she's not took out, but you know what I mean, invested in. But yeah, I think it's important that as you start to make some money, you get some people in your circle who can support you in having healthy habits with that money. And also from a tax perspective, put some up for those taxes because you will owe at some point in time.
Will they? So if you don't want to owe, what you should do is probably, if this is somebody that's making really good money, that's childless, and probably like single, probably max out your 401k.
But people don't do that.
And also, if you are young without a family, I would highly suggest getting a HSA.
Oh, for sure. Please, max that out. If you can afford to max out your 401k and your HSA, you're setting yourself up for a good position. And at least match to where your company will match. Like, at least get the free money from them, from the match that they'll do.
And this is the last thing I'm going to say. Do not let the black tax get you.
Tell me more.
You're not familiar with the black tax?
No.
You know how most families got the one black person that make it and everybody else is kind of just either average or above average? So it's like the terms, all the rich auntie and all that kind of stuff, them people are typically the people that get the black tax. Oh, your auntie will pay for it or this or that. When you get your money, that's your money. Don't feel bad for telling nobody no.
Nah, facts.
Your parents were supposed to do the things they did for you. Don't let them gaslight you and say, the stuff I sacrificed, you were supposed to. If you wasn't ready to sacrifice, or then you shouldn't have had no kids. And
it's so tough too, because when you are quote unquote that person in the family, people do look to you to help support and alleviate some burdens and stuff. But a lot of the times when you trying to come up, you ain't really coming up because you giving away a large chunk or portion of that. So you definitely have to set some financial boundaries and stand firm in them so that you can continue to grow your money again.
Yeah, and
there's no point of you working that hard and you can't even.
I'm talking from personal experience. And also the part two is then you start getting up like, I put in much more work than y'all did.
I think the thing that upsets me is that you work as hard as you do, right? And somebody else is not working as hard as they could, but you want to come bite off this plate because you just don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there. The space is there for you to do so. So I think that you definitely have to set boundaries and don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to be the bad guy because nobody who is doing well is a yes man.
Yeah. But